Good morning, class. Today we are going to see some important topics about the second unit. Is what is a virtualization? Why we need virtualization? Why it is so important? How it is helping us to compute our data? All these things will be covered. And later on, we will discuss the first topic, that is levels of virtualization. So first one, what is virtualization? So here, virtualization means we need to take many operating systems or the many things has to be work on your environment without installing or without owning. Means many instances. You can take it as a 10 guest operating systems, or many more than 10 also can be specified. So what makes this virtualization to do is it will help you run the environment which is not possessed with you with the help of this concept. Means we need to take care of what is a host system, what you are using there. See, this one is the traditional architecture and this is the virtual architecture. So we are having hardware, and then next operating systems, and then next applications. Through these applications, what you are doing, you will communicate, or we will process your compute your data, any type of the data. It's the applications. What could be the applications? So you have your doubt, what could be the applications? Means whatever the things you are using for process, whether you are using compilers, or you are using any runtime data, or for example if you are using any other application like for example documents, any PowerPoint presentation, or any Python, that is a software what you have installed, all these things, any type of the application what you have been installed, working with and get the benefit of that application will undercome this section. So how these traditional architecture means how your phone or device or anything how it will be, means it will have its own hardware. Means its motherboard, the storage space what it is using, and then what are the things it is supporting, like that IO devices which are connected to that one. All these things will come under the hardware, and the network connectivity also, and the operating system what you are using in your device. Means if you are using Windows, or if you are using some Mac OS or something, Linux, Fedora, or anything, any type of representation what you are using to use your device. And coming to your mobile phone, you may use some Android versions will be there. So what are the things you are using will be replicated here. Coming to the virtual architecture, so here the hardware will be the same. Means the host operating system what you are using. I am saying a host operating system. So the thing what you are using means what we are represented as is host operating system, or the host. Okay. So first here what the host is doing is he will maintain the same hardware for you and other operating systems also. And what we have a virtualization layer apart from these what we are maintaining here, operating system. Means along with the operating system also what we are doing is we are maintaining a virtualization layer. So what it means, we need to we need to install a software or a part of the code into our operating system to create an environment which will make you to access different operating systems here. So if you remember your previous sessions, I show some of the examples there also. So from one system, from one desktop, or from one screen, we have gone through many that is things are there that will make to connect to the different systems, or different environment, which makes us to take the benefits of the environment without installing them or without owning them. Okay. So here what it is mentioning here is one operating system is there. what are the operating system is having its own applications. If you see behind, there is also one operating system and it is having its own applications. So likewise, we are having many operating systems that are not of your environment, which this virtualization layer helps to connect with this operating systems and go on through the work like that. So what this operating systems are specified or they're giving name as guest operating systems. Why so? Just you are using for a particular amount of the time only. So this operating system will connect to your environment for the particular amount of the time only. That's why what you are saying, there is a they will come as a guest and will perform their work and they will leave there. So this one what you are specifying here is the virtualization layer. Here it will help to take the benefits of the environment which we don't possess in our hardware or in our things. So that is the architecture of the virtual one. So here what it is specifying here is a what is the virtualization. Here we can means how we are refer it is act of creating virtual, means it's not an actual environment. What it is creating, it's an imaginary or the imaginary version, virtual version of something. So what are the things we will add here? You will have a doubt. What are the virtual things? Virtual resources will be here is, so we can take hardware platforms into an account, storage devices, and sometimes we will use the computer networks, and also nowadays we are also using IO devices, also input devices, output devices. All these things will be used in all means in virtualization environment. So in this environment we have we have only the operating system and the applications we are using here. Apart from this, we are able to use the storage devices which are not with you, and then next the computer networks, what are networking network connections what are not with you, and then you can go for the devices that is the output device. You can consider the scanner or a Xerox machine or a printer or anything, any type of the output device what you are doing will be specified in this virtualization layer. So this is the one example here. In the previous sessions also I explained this thing, and I am so and try to memorize, that is memorize you that how will have these things into that one. So we have the VMware infrastructure in this one. So here this is the virtual center. In this virtual center we need to maintain two things separately, and then next we need to manage all these things in a well manner. So the first one is the application management, and the next one is the infrastructure management. So all these underneath this one we are having the servers, the rack of the servers are there, and then next disk arrays are there, and you are providing data center, that is a network connectivity also you are providing to connect. So this is a off-premise cloud, means we if you want to add some that is the resources to that one, you can add. So what could be the resources means, remember this one is the resource, and then this one, and then this one would be the resource. You can add the devices to also to specify the resource can be shared one. So here underneath we will have the infrastructure. This infrastructure what it will do is, it will do virtual computing, virtual storage, virtual network providing, and the cloud services which are also virtual here. So what it is computing, and then next what it is storing, from whom it is storing, from which network it is accessing, from which what are the network connectivities it is providing. All these things will be take care of this infrastructure virtual services. So these are underneath level. When you go for the user level, what it do here is application management. So these are the several things what it is providing. So here .NET it is providing, you don't have a .NET environment, it is providing the .NET environment, and also it is providing some developed softwares, or developed softwares will be provided to you as a service, and you are able to access the Windows environment and also the Linux environment also. And if you want to execute your programs in Java environment, you are having the J2EE version here, and you are able to access the desktop of others, and then next applications what you are chosen here. So what are the application services we are having here? So the first one is mainly availability, and then security, and then scalability. Why does the main thing is availability means, see the previous diagram. So you are working on this operating system here. Sometimes your host operating system has been failed, or anything guest operating system has been failed, whatever it occurs, and you are connected to a network, means you are connected to a network, all these devices, host operating system. So what we need to do here is, we need to take care of this application or this operating system processing data. What we have to do, we need to migrate this one to the another system. So for this one, what the term we are specifying it is the availability of the systems. Whenever we are facing a crashing, or whenever we are facing some representations which are not been added in the computations, which are giving effect to your computations, what we need to do, we need to take this environment into the another host operating system. So that's why we are making the migration into an account. So if you are taking migration into an account means, whenever we are facing such thing, your system should be available to take care of all these things. Means you may consider many systems, or many things will fail. For example, at a time 4 or 5 operating systems, what their computation has been crashed. What we need to do, we need to provide 5 host operating systems to them to continue to their work. We need to resume their work, not the start over. Start over means we need to start from the first. There is no need to start over. What we have to do is nothing but we need to resume our work. So what the work has been stopped there, what we need to do, we need to take care of that one. And then next we need to start the initialization, or the start the execution where it has been stopped in this hardware environment. So likewise, the systems what you are using in this one, that could be availability is the main factor. Then security means we need to provide we are using the cloud environment. And the virtualization means we are getting into the another guest operating system, we are using all these things, means we need to provide some security to our data also. And then scalability, what is the scalability here is, see here, I am adding six host of guest operating systems here. I am not interested to use 6 guest operating systems here. I want to use only 2 guest operating systems in my environment. Then what it has to do here, it should be means whatever the 4 things we are representing here could not be present here. So for that, what you have to scale in has to be applied. So what you are doing, we are decreasing the operating systems here. So if you want to access many guest operating systems, or many virtual resources there, what we have to do is nothing but we need to add here. So this type of that is represented is a scaler. So here scale up, scale down, scale in, scale out, all these things has to be increased here. And for example, I want to increase the capacity of this operating system. What we need to do is nothing but we need to scale up, and I have to decrease that one. We have to do scale out has to be done. So it has to be support scalability also. See, so this is the basic infrastructure what you are using for the virtual machine, that is VMware. So here, this one is for these data center operating system, and it is provided from the VMware. So after that, we are having another concept that is called in virtualization only, but it is a new name. What it is providing is a container virtualization. So what is the useful of this container virtualization here is, it is providing an environment that is to take care of all these things. By what you are performing here, we are performing all these things based on one hardware only. So here in this, see here in this example, what you are choosing here, many operating systems are there, but many operating systems are using only one hardware only. So here what it is representing, so we are using that underlying hardware will be there. So what we need to provide is, we need to provide a single operating system, which is a kernel, and we need to emulate this operating system to work on that one, not the hardware what you are using. So you are having a diagrammatical representation here. In this one, what you are using, you are representing, this is the pre-virtualization one. Here we are using a virtualization processing, and we are coming under these container based virtualization here. So we are providing applications, and then guest operating system, and then guest operating system, and then guest operating system. Like that we are adding all these things. But what this container engine says here is, apart from these hardware, what we need to do is we need to maintain a virtual server which will maintain or which will give the environment, that is a operating system environment for every type of application what you are using here. So here no need to maintain the guest operating system for all. What we need to do is we need to maintain your operating system, only one operating system. But what is the work has to be done, these operating systems will, means with these applications will be taken by this container engine. This container engine will have the access of the, will have the ability to process this multiple operating system capabilities to take care of all these applications. If coming to this diagram, we are having a physical server, and then next host operating system. We have the library files, and then bin files will be there, and then applications. So this is the normal structure of your device what you are using in this one without virtualization. Means it can be a phone or a laptop or any desktop device. So we have its own server is there, or you can may specify it is having its own hardware also. So but what you are specifying here is, here we are using the bin libraries, and the next applications here it is having only one color representation. Means these all links, all the things what you are using for only this type of or this environment only. If you go for the second environment, we are having a new term, that is a hypervisor. What is the work of the hypervisor? I said VMM is there, that is virtual machine monitor. In the first unit we saw introduction to the virtual machines. There we saw VMM is there. VMM is, instead of that is calling VMM, we are using a hypervisor. VMM means virtual machine monitor. What it is doing, it will take care of the guest operating systems what you are using currently, and also the applications what it is developing or what it is processing, and also take care about the data flow also. Means we need to, apart from also we are using guest operating systems here. What we need to do here is the data what it is being processed by these guest operating systems will be stored on your computer only. So all these things, storages, all these things will be taken by the hypervisor only. So here we are providing a physical server, and then next host operating system, and we are having a hypervisor which will take care of the guest operating system. These three different colors are representing three different environments here. Well, coming to this one, what we are doing, we are maintaining multiple operating systems here, which is a which has been emulated by this physical server, which is having some pressurized work here. So that's why what we need to do, we need to maintain that much of operating systems in one environment. We are going to provide a container engine. In this we will have the ability to access all these things at once, and there is no need to install, other than no need to process that much of guest operating systems into our environment. So that is the advantage of these container here. So here, what is the difference? What is the difference here is, the containers will provide way to virtualize an operating system. So what it has to do is nothing but it will take the multiple workloads will work on the single operating system instance. So see here, so here the guest operating system is executing this one. So here this is not taking the multiple workloads here. The individual load of this operating system, the individual load of this operating system, individual load of this operating system. So these are not the multiple works or working on the one device. If you combinedly see here, so if you see this device, okay, in this device we are executing multiple applications using multiple operating systems. While coming to this container based one, if we are choosing to execute like this, the operating system has to take care of the execution of this application simultaneously, and it is having the capability of taking care of this multiple workloads also. So that is the difference it is maintaining apart from these virtual machines and then these things what you are using. So here what we need to do is we need to take these infrastructure to work multiple environments here. So here we are also taking in, that is operating system is also taking of the multiple workloads to be done by that one. So you have seen that you can perform only one work at a time. The background works will be performed, but on the screen in the front end, we will do only one work. But what it is specifying here is, so apart from all these things, we can take these things to be done. Means multiple works will be done. That is a front end works will be done easily when you are using this container type in indications in our things. So likewise, we are having types. What are the types of the virtualization? Means what we can virtualize. Means how we are providing the virtualization. That will be coming in coming, that is the next sessions ma. So what we virtualize here is, likewise I said, we can virtualize your servers. Many servers or any servers will be there, it can be virtualized. Means you can provide the server to access. So for sometimes if you want to get the some projects to be done, some informations or has to be processed, means we need to take these servers into an account. So purchasing these servers, what it is doing is, it's a very that is a cost effective one. We can't afford this much of servers to process our projects or to process our data. What we need to do, we need to take these that is servers or anything as a rented one. That is, we need to subscribe the service there. So how it is going to do is, we need to provide the virtualization environment for these servers also, and also some networks also we will take into processing. And then next applications, some applications means already developed one, we need to take into one. So already developed applications will be given to you. Means in previous examples is that is, there is a .NET and J2EE is there, or there are already developed one, they are providing runtime environment using .NET that is code, and then next you are having the Java code, you will go for that environment. So these are the applications you can share. And after that we have the storage. So it will provide the disk arrays as storages, that is you can store them. So we can access them and store them, store the data what you are processing or what you are computing for your means computations. And then next one, desktop virtualization. This one is making the other one, that is what it is taking, it is taking the other operating systems into an account. You may say other desktops into an account, like that you will virtualize anything. So here that is virtualization. Virtualization means you are creating an environment to that. So to create this environment or to access this environment, what we need is, we need a virtual machine. So here the virtualization means we can make them to access without installing or that without owning. But what does virtual machines do is, it is using a concept of the virtualization and providing the environment to access all these things by the end users or the organizations here. So here the virtual machines, what they will do, they will allow you to run an operating system in an application window on your desktop, which will behave like a full and separate computer. So how we are going to install that one here is, it is nothing but what is a virtual, how we are going to maintain a virtual machine means, just it is a software program. What it is, it will behave like a separate computer here. So here I am taking this one also you previously explained, and I am again explaining this one. So we are taking this one account. This is the operating virtual machine we are having. So we need to take care of the guest operating system here. For this guest operating system, for the host operating system also, what we need to do is nothing but we need to connect with the hypervisor, and this hypervisor will to and fro will with the guest operating system. Likewise I said. So this guest virtual machine, what will do? It will execute the, or it will process the means programs or any data what you have taken in user space and then kernel space, because the kernel space will use the system calls what you are using here. So if you want any data, or if you want to any want to access anything from this means host environment, what it has to do is nothing but it has to request the hypervisor. So for that, what he has to do is nothing but he need to call this one for you by using the hypercalls. So here this by using this hypercalls, if it is desired to send the data which has been processed, then it will be stored in this memory state here. And if not, it is requesting for something, the request will be take care of the hypervisor and it will be passed to this that is monitoring VM, which is which is situated at the host operating system. So here we need to take what are the guest operating system environments where you are having. If you are having only one, we need to maintain one symbol table. If you are having many, what you have to do is nothing but for each and every operating system, we need to maintain each and every individual symbol table. So here, what it has been asked to it not to be connected means converted directly. So here, what it is doing is it is providing the data to the API, that is virtual monitor interface is there. So what it is doing is it is giving the information to the symbol table, and it is going to transfer all these things to this one. So here, when you are considering a virtual machine, what it will be here is the hypervisor will come into an account, because we need to consider all these things to be done. Means how far we will execute all these things. So we don't know this environment, we don't know what it is happening on what the calls it will do, because the environment what it is specifying here is a very different to this environment. So further, we need to maintain an interface for that one. So that's why we need to install a software program to take care of these guest operating system and then next host operating system into an account. So further, we are maintaining a monitor. The monitor is renamed as a hypervisor. So based on the virtual machines, the name of the monitor will change. Here we are using the virtual machine basically. We are calling it as a hypervisor. In some virtual machines we will take some other names also. So what are the virtual machines best virtual machines we are having is that is VirtualBox. So which is the open source hypervisor, because it can be means you have its own version. You will have its own version, because it is offering you to develop your virtual machine or your virtual version using Intel X8 that is Intel 86 computers. And then next second one is the Windows Virtual PC. Also, this one is the Oracle. So this one is for the Microsoft Windows here. So here it is providing a virtual PC here. So into the environment for accessing. And then third one is the kernel based virtual machine. So here it is for the Linux based one. We are having the workstation player, that is a VMware here, and then last one is a Hyper-V. These are the 5 best virtual machines what you are using here. So this is a diagram. In previous sessions also you have seen this diagram. So here this is the Oracle. That the first one, VirtualBox, is there now by the Oracle. This is the Oracle VM Virtual Machine VirtualBox Manager. So what it is doing is, what are the tools you are having? Others, what are the installations you have been seeing here? Here is, so we are having 7 different environments. These 7 different environments will be accessed by you at once also, but we are having only 3 environments running in at right now. So here the first one is the Ubuntu, which is the Linux, that is a Fedora based one, and then next Windows, and then next you are using again Linux, which is the Oracle Linux one. So this is completely Ubuntu is the Fedora based Linux based one, but it is using here Oracle based one. So in previous sessions also we discussed the single system image is there. So this one is the image of the system. So here we need to give the what is the operating system and what is the bit structure it is supporting, where it has been situated, what is the memory space, what is the ordering, acceleration, all these things. Many things will be there. So we have to give all these things into an account, because when you are clicking on this thing, the user has to know by using this environment what I will get the benefits. You simply placing a means this one preview of this one, and you're not giving some information about this thing. What it happens here is the user will be confused by using this environment what the benefits I am getting. So that one for means for also what it is doing is you need to maintain the system image here. See, it is also accelerating. Nested paging is there, para virtualization. This is the kernel virtual missions. Kernel based virtualization missions is the KVM para virtualization is the virtualization it is supporting. So these are the things has to be included when you are representing this thing as a guest here. So this is the example of your system image, and also the multiple environments which has been given to you when you are using a virtual machine. So there is no need to install all these things. What you have to do is nothing but means we need to click on the Oracle icon, what it is representing on the desktop. By clicking on this virtual icon, we will get this one. If you want to run any environment among this one, we need to we just click on that one or place it as a run. Then what it will do, it will allow you to access this environment and get the benefits or get the applications to be done from that side. And you need to, there is no need to maintain different memory spaces also here. We have the memory spaces of your hardware, own hardware only. It will store and it will have the computed data what you have done here. So that's about your introduction of the virtualization. So I hope you understood what is a virtualization and what the concept it is supporting. And the next that is we are having the levels of the virtualization. So here what we have to do here. So there is what is a virtualization I've been explained. So here the another representation, the traditional operating system, and then after virtualization how it is working. So the hardware means these all the things will be considered. These all the things has to be shared with that one. So when you are using traditional operating computer, what it is providing one operating system. This operating system is capable of executing that applications only. If you see there has been you means capable of executing this only has been enclosed in this one. So the application is completely oriented with this host operating system what you are using. If you are not able to access an application means what it means or what it is specifying here is it has not been supported by your operating system. What you have to do, you need to install the supported files here, and if not, it is not accessing means that is completely avoidable by this operating system. After virtualization, every guest operating system will have the ability to access the hardware of this host operating system, and you will decide. You means host will decide how far they will access these things. Means how far they will access. You are giving the permissions to make the changes to your system or to your memory spaces or anything will be decided by host operating system only. Means we need to take the privileges into the account to process all these things. So these are the operating systems we are using here. They have their own memory space on all these things, but they are working or they are executing on behalf of this one also. This one means sometimes they need to access your host operating system hardware also. Means they need to you need to decide what could be the privilege of accessing, how far I have to allow them to access my operating system. All these things we need to decide before giving access to all these things. So coming to the levels of abstraction. So these are the levels of the abstraction. So the underneath one is the instruction set, and then next we are having the hardware. After that we are having operating systems level abstraction, virtualization, and then we are having library level one. After that the last one, which is at the user end, here is the application level. So we will come from the underneath one. So the first one is the instruction set architecture level virtualization. Simply we will call it as a ISA level or the ISA level virtualization. What it will do or what are the things we are using here is We are using Java virtual, Bosch, and then next Crusoe, Kemu, Bird, Dynamo. These are the several examples what it is providing. So why we need instruction level abstract, that is virtualization. What I said, virtualization means we are capable of sharing our environment or the resources to the another one, to the another things. So here what we are doing is we need to take these things, that is we need to take a method, that is a emulation method, to perform this virtualization on this host machine. So for example, we are taking these binary code. The binary code what you are using can run on the any x86 based host machine. What it is performing, how it is performing is by using the ISA emulation. What is the emulation then? What is the emulation? It is specifying, or the what is the word emulation specify here is, it is a method. We can call it the method, we can give it its name as the code interpretation. Means we need to take a interpreter program into an account to take the just only the source instructions only, the source instructions which are used to target the instructions which are having the, means no need to share the total data or the total instructions here. What we need to do here is we need to take only the source instructions into an account. What is the source instruction then? What is the source instruction we need to do here is, I am taking simple, well known, it's maybe it's not applied here, but I am taking an example into an account. What you have to do, C is equals to A plus B. C is equals to A plus B is there. So when you are reaching C is equals to A plus B in your program, what it has to do here? Simply it is making A plus B and then storing. It's not possible. What it has to do, it has to take the step-by-step procedure. First, it has to take the right side of the processing. So first, it has to read A value, and then next it has to store in that one, and then next it has to go for the B value, and it has to get the B value, and it has to store that one. After getting the values, after fetching the values of the A and B, there you want to process, or there you want to add the data there. So that is A plus B has to be done. After processing this one, after addition, what you have to do? Continuously we need to take the another step into an account, that is called the assignment. We need to assign the data to the C. If the C is having the data, what we need to perform there? We should clear the data of the C, and we need to take this one into account there. So these are the things has to be done. Means simply you are giving a instruction, the source instruction. What it is not the appreciable one. Here is you are executing only one code, is not the one. So here we need to take one code into an account, one line of code. What is that one? C is equals to A plus B you are doing. But what it is indirectly specifying, there are many instructions to be executed here. Likewise, we are having the source instructions. These source instructions will require many, may require few or hundreds or thousands of instructions to be performed to get the result of that one. So here what I am doing, first I need to fetch the value, and I need to store the value into that one because I can't store it is on the A there. What it has to fetch the A value, and after that what it is doing to fetch the B value. So before fetching the B value, it must store the data there. So for also it has for what it is doing, it is going to store the data. So fetching, and then next storing, and then next fetching, and then next storing, and then next adding. After that what it is doing, it is assigning. Before assigning, what it is performing, it should look whether it is having some data or not. If it is not having any data, it is having some null empty, just defined, just declared one, so there is no problem. What it has to do is nothing but, if it has to defined one, it has to clear the value, and then it has to store the value. So for any source instruction what you are having, we need to know what are the we can say that is a native target instructions for performing this function or the performing this type of process here. So for this thing, what it has to do is nothing but we need to take each and everything into an account. I just explained here what are the things. I just explained for the only c is equals to a plus b here. So take it as a push function. Push of 5 has been given. So what it has to do, it is executing the push function into, that is it has to take the count, that is 5 has to be inserted into your stack. For 5, for to insert the 5, what it has to, execute the complete code of your push function there, and simply it is going and executing, that is inserting the 5 likewise on your paper. It's not possible. When you are trying to done manually, what it is, if you want to take the 5 value, there you will see the stack is full there, then there is no need to insert there. What you will write there, stack is full, you will write there. So these are the things not be considered manually. So what you have to do is nothing but we need to take care of the code which has to be executed there. So all these things, when you want to insert a single value into that one, we need to take care of the complete code has to be executed. Complete the variables what you are using in this one will be updated very soon. So all these things has to be considered. So for this type of processing, it takes a lot of time. To overcome this one, what we need to is to perform, to make it better, what we need here is we need the dynamic binary translator. So when we are specifying instruction set architecture level or ISA level virtualization into an account, what we need to do is nothing but we need to specify dynamic binary translator here. What this will do? So this will take only the basic blocks of the source instructions only. Not all the things will be considered. Only which are required one or which are has to be performed will be taken into an account. These blocks will what has to be traced for performing efficiently here. So this type of processing means this type of emulation is called as a binary translation and optimization here. So here we will follow this specific things to be done. So what I have said will be means theoretically will not be easy. So that's why what you will use, we will use a processor specific software translation layer for the compiler. Means what it is needing, processor for processing what it is needing has to be added to your compiler, because the compiler will be the only the main thing to access all these things. That's why we need to take a software into an account for translating all these things, and where we are providing this one to the what are the environment you are choosing. If you are using Java compiler will take this software into an account. If we are using another one, it will take this compiler into an account here. So this is the instruction set architecture level virtualization. What it is doing, it is providing a new approach for execution. What the approach is specifying is, when you are trying to execute your program, what it is specifying it is the source instructions are there. The source instructions means where it is performing, where the things what you are performing while means in while execution or while compiling, what it has to do, it need to take several instructions to be account with unknowingly. So to avoid this type of things, what it has to do is nothing but we need to take a dynamic binary translation into an account. So what it supports or what it specifies here is, no need to do by your way. We need to install a software for your, along with your compiler, we need to add this one to that one. So what it takes here is what is the important one, or what are the instructions which are possible for execution will be taken into an account here. So that is the first one. And then next one, hardware abstraction level. Here that is we are taking all these things into an account. That is the hardware, underlying hardware what you are taking will be virtualized here. So what we will virtualize here is the processors we are here using, memory spaces, and the next IO devices will be virtualized here. if you go for this idea will be implemented by IBM Virtual Machine 370 in 1960, and we are using Zen. Zen is a recently hypervisor architecture. In this unit, we will after in the next class we will see what is a Zen architecture and how it is going to process here. So here it is providing the Linux based environment to process all these things. How it is going to take this virtualization, hardware virtualization into an account means this is your desktop. Okay, here this is also known as a desktop virtualization. So here we are using one environment. Here we are providing USB ports, network adapter, DVD drive, and all these things are being there. And what it is the desktop PC it is supporting here is SEMA. Ubuntu is there, means which is the Linux based one what you are using here. So by using the virtualization in this environment, you are able to access these virtual machines here. These virtual machines are itself having two virtual CPUs, which is having the 2 GB RAM, and then next it is providing hard disk space, which is the device 10 GB is there. All these things are individually supported. If you go for this one, whether it is having Windows environment, it is having a iOS environment, it is supporting another Windows environment. Likewise, you are having when you are having this type of virtualization, you are situated in your system and you will be able to access this one, and it is also allowing to share the CPUs, memory spaces, and also the IO devices which has been connected to you, they connected to these different environments here. So how many things you will has been specified here? Three different environments has been specified, which is supporting individually two virtual CPUs and individually 2 GB RAM and then 10 GB hard disk drive space you are having. So this is the benefit of having this one, where there is no need to extend your memory. There is no need to extend your memory, or there is no need to add any another DV drive or the network adapter or anything. What you are doing, you are able to access the hardware components of this virtual machine without installing all these things to your computer. You can access the IO devices also, what it is processing, what it is having here. Also this one, also this one. So that is the advantage of using this one. So there your means what are the systems mostly you are having is Intel 86 based machines. What you are supporting will take the advantage of adding this that is hardware abstraction level to your virtualization environment. So mostly used one is the Xen architecture, the Xen hypervisor what you are using. So this again I am saying the Xen means it is completely to run these Linux environment what you are using. And then next one, third one from underneath, you are having operating system level. So here in this operating system level, in the previous slides, I have been explained how we are sharing the operating systems also. In this virtual Oracle VM VirtualBox Manager has been shown to you that we are supporting Ubuntu is there, and we are also supporting Oracle based Linux is there, and we are also having Windows environment, and another 7 different environments has been added to your traditional operating system to access the applications what it is having. For what it is doing is to get the benefits of that one without installing all these things. So how we are going to take this virtualization into an account means we need to create isolated containers on these single physical server, and what it is doing is it is providing your to access or to utilize the hardware or the software what you are having in the data centers. So here this is the infrastructure. It is means what is the physical server or the virtual server what you are supporting there, and we are using a hypervisor for getting into the virtual environment and take caring of the things what it is means for monitoring all these things. You are having 3 different virtual machines which are using 3 different operating systems here, and they are using multiple applications to be done. So here there is a means we need to take into account that we we are providing multiple hosting environments to take care of our processing here. So here what we need to do here is we need to trust these operating systems and allow to access them. But before allowing to access or before allowing to do all these things, what it has to do is nothing but we need to specify that how far they will access all these things has to be considered. So this is the introduction, and in this chapter we will study operating system level, that is OS level virtualization, means what are the advantages of OS extension and what are the disadvantages here, how far we are virtualizing Windows and the Linux environment, like this, all these things will be covered. After that we are having the fourth one from underneath is the library support level. So here what we need to take here is we are virtualizing the library interfaces or library things here. Means we need to take care of these applications. When you are trying to execute any application, what it has to do when means for example any Word or any Java or anything, it must have its library files. So for using any application, what it requires, you need to install the files what it is supporting. So what it is providing here, this level is providing here the communication link between applications and the rest of these API hooks to provide the chance or to provide the interfaces to access these libraries, library files which are not to be installed on you, on your device. So what is an example here we are providing is the CUDA. If you remember graphical processing unit, there is a word called the CUDA. So here each and every peer or the each and every node has been specified as a CUDA, means it is having its own structure. It means it is having own operating system there, and also processing will be done very easily. And how it is going to access and how it is going to provide here is it is like having the grid-like architecture, and also some units. It is having its functional units in the that also initialization units will be there. Any operations computations has been occurred, what it is doing is it is operating all these things into an account. It is having its own things, own units and own operands, all these things has to be considered here. So one of the example for the library support level is the vCUDA, and also we are having this example in this middleware support for that one, how it is going to execute, what are the libraries it is supporting. Also in next class we will see. After that we are having next one, that is a user application level. So here we are that is having virtualization of these applications which has been developed earlierly. So we are using the applications which are not installed on your operating system, but we are trying to get the access of these applications and to get the benefits of that one. So here for this one, what will be the example here is likewise I said .NET and JVM are the examples for using the VM, that is a virtual machines onto your account. So there is no need to install all these things. We will access from anywhere and also process all these things there. So what are the application levels? Other forms will be application isolation, application sandboxing, application streaming, all these things will be there. So what it is doing here is that these applications will be virtualized, and then we can have these deployed, we can deploy your program into that environment and also develop your programs into an account. After that, we will see what are the levels of the implementations and how they are performing, and what is the flexibility implementations will be there. Here the X mark is there. X mark is represented as a, means it is having how much of capacity or how much it is specified. If it is having only 1x means it is the worst case. If it is having more than 1 means okay, and then next if it is having 3 means if you are providing that is a middle one, that is okay, it is eventually supporting like that. If you are having 5x marks for that that is feature, what it is doing is it is the best in that feature. For example, ISA means performance is low because We need to take care of all the building blocks or the basic blocks of the program. We need to convert all these things. We need to add a separate software to your compiler. So when you are coming to your execution or when your performance, it is a degrading one. But coming to the flexibility of processing or the complexity, and then next application isolation, what it is doing is, so what is this, Seema? What is this implementation of the complexity means? Cost. What is the cost has been affecting? And then next application isolation means what is the effort to require, here is required to isolate the resources from these virtual environment. And then application flexibility, and then next high performance means flexible means to any environment it is flexible. And because why it is flexible means we are adding some software to that one, for that it is also flexible for any environment. So likewise second one, hardware. So the higher performance, and the next cost is best means the cost is low because it is not affecting anyone. You are using, you are not installing anything, we are not buying anything, you are just having the service, we are just paying little amount and having the services of them instantly there. And then OS level, it is also performing the highest because you are not going to install all these operating systems into your account. What you are doing, you are taking the virtual environment into your system, and you are adding any Oracle or anything to your system, and you are taking the benefits of the other operating systems. What are the runtime library support? Library support means library level virtualization is given. It is not the much affected one, and the last one is a user level application. So last two are will be very high because we are not implementing, or we are not taking any cost into an account because there is no any paying on that. We are not purchasing all these things. And the isolation means it will support to the many because it will have the isolate resources based on the different virtual machines. It has not supported anything. So these are the things you need to consider. These are the features we need to consider when you are discussing about the levels of the implementation. So here, what are the providers, and the next what you are doing here is 4 different virtual machines are there, and what are they providing as a host operating system, and the next host CPU or the guest operating system, and what is the architecture you are seeing here. So first one is a VMware workstation. At the host operating system, it is using Intel 86, and then Intel 86, which is the 64-bit. Here it will be 32 also. Likewise, I said 71 and the 71342 in the previous. These are the port numbers what you are using here. Coming to this one, what are the host operating systems it will support? Windows and the Linux. And then next guest operating systems it will provide is, if you are using Linux as the host operating system, it will provide Windows as the guest one. If you are using Windows as the host operating system, it will provide Linux as the guest operating system. Other than this, it is providing Solaris, FreeBSD, and then next NetWare. All these things are considered. And what is the architecture? There are 3 different architectures: full virtualization, para virtualization, and hypervisor. In the coming sessions, we will see all these things here. So coming to the second one, VMware ESX server. So here, what it is providing or what it is giving here is x86, like x86, all these things are supporting 64-bit Intel 86. It is no host operating system will be there because it is a server and it is maintaining all the things what you are having here in the guest operating system, but it is only supporting the para virtualization. There is a Zen. These are Linux based one. So it is using the Linux or the NetBSD or the Solaris, and it is also supporting IA64. And these are the environments which will be provided. So because it is a Linux one, it will support the Windows XP and the 2003 server also. And it is a hypervisor environment here. And the kernel based virtual machine here. So it is also supporting this. These are the host CPUs, processors what we are using, and a host operating system simply Linux, and guest operating system will be the Windows, FreeBSD, and the Solaris. What is the virtualization support it is giving is the para virtualization. So that's about your today's class, ma. Today I have seen what we have discussed here today. We have covered what is the virtualization. We have seen what are the virtualization will do and how we are getting the benefits of that one, and what are the types of virtualization we are having, and it is also giving some benefits to us also. And after that, we are having that one, that is levels of virtualization. At which level we will virtualize our resources, and how we are going to virtualize our resources. Simply we are saying we are virtualizing our resources means it's not the easy task. How we need to perform means instructions are virtualized. Instructions, how we are going to virtualize means we are taking this binary code into the another system here. How far it is taken means we need to take these only the basic blocks, only the code, bytecode. In Java there is a bytecode. Why it is a platform independent? It will take all these things into account now. Like that, what we have to do is not what we need to specify how it has been achieved the virtualization. In coming sessions we will see all these. We have seen different virtual machines here. In coming sessions we will discuss all these architectures, and then next how we are accompanying the virtualization, and what are the advantages or the disadvantages, how come how far it is supporting, what are the privileges it is giving. All this will be covered. That's it for this class, ma. Thank you.